Hey, all you gangbangers, I got something a little different today. This is a flat earth gal that she's got all kinds of weird stuff going on. This video is about how the sun ain't right. It's different than when she was a little kid. You know, like snowbankings are 20 feet deep when you were a little kid, but when you grow up, you find out they're only a few feet deep. That sort of thing. She thinks the Devil's Tower, where that movie was made, what the heck was the name of that movie? Anyway, I don't remember. It had Richard Dreyfuss in it, and the aliens landed and dropped off some humans and took some more humans with them. But she thinks that's either a giant tree stump that's petrified, or it's a broken off foot from a giant from zillions of millions of years ago or something. This lady is out there, man. I'm telling you what. Uh, you might get that idea by the time you're done watching this. It's just my opinion now, but I think she's batshit crazy.
But I did want to do this one about the sun because being outside so much the past week, I mean, we're always outside, but I was outside even more last week, and I have noticed there is definitely something wrong with our sun. And it is something that I have brought up with my children an awful lot, telling them that the sun is very, very different than it was when I was a child. But I started noticing years ago just that the sky in general is not the same as when I was young.
Oh, we're not even warmed up on crazy yet. Stay tuned, dear. You'll be seeing some coming up here.
So even before I had ever heard the term chemtrails, before I ever started waking up, I remember looking up at the sky over the summer and I would think to myself, I don't remember those jet contrails ever being this thick or turning into clouds.
So back when you was a kid, when jet airliners were just becoming a thing, you don't remember seeing this many chemtrails from jetliners? Well, that's really strange, isn't it? My goodness, I wonder what could have happened.
Or lasting this long. And I remember that I would just watch the sky really puzzled. I really didn't understand what I was seeing, but I knew for a fact that what I was seeing was not the smoke that typically came out of jets, at least when I was a child. It was something that was totally different. And then I started hearing about chemtrails. And of course, that was actually, again, that was right at the cusp of my awakening, I think, that I started to really open up about chemtrails. And people, they try to deter you from looking into that sort of thing. But I looked into it and I realized that that was indeed what I was seeing. And unfortunately, it doesn't even just stop just at the chemtrails.
Let's get into some evidence from a flat Earth channel, shall we? This is the real science, flat Earth science.
And I know that this isn't specifically related to the sun, which is really what prompted me to do this video, but it is up in the sky, and I will connect the two. But if you will notice on Wikipedia, it's called the chemtrail conspiracy theory because they don't want you to look into things. They want you to just laugh things off and just think that only those crazy people think stuff like this. But then we're supposed to completely ignore things like this. A Bill Gates venture aims to spray dust into the atmosphere to block the sun. What could go wrong? So on the one hand, we have Wikipedia telling us that chemtrails are a conspiracy theory, but then we have right here, we know, and I'm sure that you've all heard of this, that Bill Gates, among many of the nefarious things that he is doing, he wants to block out the sun too.
Well, Bill Gates is a power-hungry, crazy billionaire, and he has had some pretty crazy ideas, and this is one of his ideas, which he never followed through on. So much for that.
So it says Microsoft's billionaire founder Bill Gates is financially backing the development of sun dimming technology that would potentially reflect sunlight out of Earth's atmosphere, triggering a global cooling effect. The stratospheric controlled perturbation experiment aims to examine the solution by spraying non-toxic calcium carbonate dust into the atmosphere, a sun-reflecting aerosol that may offset the effects of global warming. So, conspiracy theory? No, this is not a conspiracy theory. They are spraying things into the atmosphere, and I do believe that this one was shot down eventually. But if you think that they're done doing things like this, or at least attempting to do things like this, you're a little bit too gullible, I think.
So crazy lady here is the arbiter of truth and science. Of course, they're not done trying to curb the climate change or whatever they call it today. I don't know. It used to be global warming. Now it's climate change. Whatever the heck they're calling it today. It's all a bunch of crap as far as I'm concerned. The temperature has varied since the beginning of time, up and down. You know, we had an ice age, and then global warming started, and all the ice melted, and then there was land, and land bridged each other. Russia used to be part of the United States, but the global warming thing formed the ocean, etc., etc., etc. It's completely normal in the formation of planetary systems. There's nothing unusual about it at all. I mean, who really knows? I mean, I'm sure human beings have contributed to pollution and things like that. I mean, well, there's no doubt about that. We know that's happened. Humans screw up everything. We can't help it. It's just in our nature to screw things up. But anyway, get a grip on reality, lady.
Even if we look into geoengineering. So many times we were told right alongside with chemtrails that geoengineering was another conspiracy theory. But it is in fact not a conspiracy theory. So we have Harvard's Solar Geoengineering Research Program.
It's a research program. It's a theory they're looking into. It's not a factual thing that's going on. They're doing research. That's checking things out, doing a scientific study, checking the science, and then they'll come to a conclusion. That's what that is. Conspiracy theory is that it's actually happening, and it's been happening for hundreds of years, according to you and your flat earth buddies.
And it just says carbon geoengineering seeks to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, which would address the root cause of climate change, the accumulation of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. In the chain from emissions to concentrations to temperatures to impacts, it breaks the link from emissions to concentrations. Solar geoengineering seeks to reflect a small fraction of sunlight back into space or increase the amount of solar radiation that escapes back into space to cool the planet. In contrast to carbon geoengineering, solar geoengineering does not address the root cause of climate change. So I'm just not even going to get too much into that. But I wanted to show you how they are planning on doing this. So it says, we'll just start right here. Lastly, stratospheric aerosol scattering would introduce tiny reflective particles, such as sulfate aerosols or perhaps calcium carbonate, like in the one that I read to you about Bill Gates, into the upper atmosphere, where they could scatter a small fraction of sunlight back into space. So again, this is not a conspiracy theory. We are being told that they are doing these things, but when you actually look up the word chemtrail, they don't want you to associate the two and realize that they really are the same thing. But as you can see, a lot of this really has to do with the sun. And I've been noticing a lot of very troubling things about the sun the past several years. First of all, I don't know about you. I would love if you would leave a comment. But when I was a child, I remember the sun being a very pale yellow light in the sky that I would be able to look at for just a few seconds, and then I would have to move my eyes away so that my eyes wouldn't get hurt. And then as the sun would go down, it would turn, like a more orange color, and that would be it. But it was a very welcome feeling, even having it on your skin on those hot days. It was just a warm yet soothing feeling to have the sun on your skin. And what I have noticed recently for the past several years is that, first of all, the sun is not pale yellow anymore. It is bright white, like an LED light. That is exactly what it looks like. It looks exactly like an LED light to me. And I have blue eyes.
I have brown eyes, and I am left-handed. I don't know what else to tell you. That's just the way it is.
So I already had issues with sun sensitivity. I guess a lot of people with blue eyes have that. It's even worse now. There are days that I can't even open my eyes when I'm going outside because the sun is so bright. Additionally,
you're getting older from when you was like a child. Remember back when you was a child? You weren't as old as you are now. Things wear out like your eyes. You probably need glasses. You probably have contacts in now because you don't want to, you're too vain to wear glasses. That's just a guess. But, it might have something to do with your age.
the the sunlight, when it rests on my skin, it's not that soothing, hot feeling anymore. It almost stings. It stings my skin. I've seen one person describe it as prickly, and that is what I've noticed. And again, since I was out a lot last week, yeah, I was in the car for like 30 minutes driving, and just in that 30 minutes drive, my left arm was burnt to a crisp from driving. And yeah, it just, there's something up, and I don't know what it is. Could it have something to do with this geoengineering that they are doing? Are they altering the atmosphere so badly that it is actually affecting how the sun is hitting um hitting us?
I have a theory. Maybe they replaced the sun because the sun died with a giant spotlight up in the sky. I'll bet that's what it is. It's hovering from the dome that covers the flat Earth. They've got it wired up there because it's really heavy, so they got a lot of wires and cables and stuff, so it doesn't fall and hit anybody in the head.
But I also have to point out that there are sun simulators, and NASA is one of them that has one. And this is a theory that a lot of people have, that there is actually, some people call it a sun simulator, some people call it a solar simulator, but that is actually up there in the sky with the sun. And some people believe that it is actually, well, some think that it's full out acting as the sun because there's something wrong with the sun, which I don't want to go that far, although I really don't know what's happening.
Crap, I went too far. I guessed it right. There's a light up in the sky, suspended from the dome covering the flat Earth. And by the way, who built the dome over the flat Earth? How'd that dome get there? What is it? I've never heard that. Somebody probably talks about it, but I've never heard about it. Who built the dome, and how did the dome get to fit perfectly over the flat Earth?
But other people believe that it is actually the sun simulators are reflecting the sunlight. So I don't know, but we do see here that NASA does have a sun simulator. And this is like a really rinky-dink one compared to one that they have, I believe that it was in Germany. This is the one in Germany, I believe. Yes. So scientists fire up the world's largest artificial sun without melting Earth. Synlight, as it's called, puts out light 10,000 times as intense as that of the sun. And I'm telling you, first of all, I don't know if they will say if these are LED lights, but they certainly look like they could be. I could definitely be wrong about this. We'll find out when we read a little bit.
Scientists don't guess at science. They do research and prove it out scientifically. You're not a good scientist.
But the fact that it says that it's putting out light 10,000 times as intense as that of the sun, that really does make me question if, yes, there could indeed be something like this up in the sky, because the sunlight does feel much, much more intense than it used to. It feels very uncomfortable, and I was never uncomfortable in the sunlight. When I was younger, I used to love laying out in the sun, and now I cannot stand the feel of it on my skin.
There's just so much wrong with this argument. Everything's different from when I was a little kid. I don't understand it. It must be a conspiracy.
It says, if you've ever used a magnifying glass to, say, fry an ant under the summer sun, you have a general idea of what the Synlight solar simulator does. The enormous machine, which looks like an insect's eye, uses 149 lamps to simulate sunlight, making it a handy tool for testing things like solar panels or generating clean energy.
Oh no, an explanation that actually makes sense to test out solar panels and other things like that. But let's just ignore that.
You need to have some sort of mainstream reason for it, I guess, although maybe that could be the real reason. Again, because of the changes that I've seen in the sun, I'm highly suspect that that is the only reason they would make these things. Scientists threw the switch on the world's largest artificial sun on Thursday, which happened to be the birthday of the fellow who designed it. Actually, what's the date on this? Okay, so this was in 2017. And yeah, it has been a few years since, to me, the sun started feeling, and I'll describe it again like the other person did, as prickly. Anyway, I will leave the link in the description here. It just says, not the description. Yeah, I'll leave a link to this article.
I read the article when it came out. I know what the article talks about. I've already done that. Never did I believe that it was something they were flying up into the sky to replace the sun. Never crossed my mind. Call me dumb.
That kind of power comes in handy when you want to test the effect of solar radiation on things like satellites. But what really excites scientists are the possibilities for using that intense heat. Yeah, there you go again, intense heat. And yes, what I'm feeling outside is more intense than I remember it. To split water into hydrogen and oxygen to produce a clean source of energy. Of course, the scientists monitor their work with cameras because the intense light and heat would kill a human. Bugs beware. Well, I don't know. To me, it seems that they already have something like this up there. And I think that most people realize that once they actually make these things public and act like they're brand new, you know that they've already been using them for quite a while because they never let us in on something as soon as it happens.
Yeah, that must be why they published this article 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. This article came out. So they're still keeping it a secret, even though they published an article 4 years ago, or whatever, however long ago it was, at least 4 years ago.
We always know about it years, sometimes probably even decades after they've already been using it against us. So this one actually, this picture, not that one. There are a lot of photos of what seems to be like two suns in the sky. So a lot of people believe that one of them is the actual sun and the other one is a solar simulator already up there.
Oh my God, I can't believe this. It's called a mirage. It happens when light reflects off another object in the sky. You see it driving down the road, it looks like there's a wet spot way up ahead of you when all it is a reflection from the sun making weird things happen in the middle of the road. It's light reflecting off different things. Duh.
Some of the photos, now this one, it definitely looks like it's got an odd shape if it's the sun. Some of the photos that I've seen of what is supposed to be the sun simulator do look a little suspect. So
The sun is roughly 93 million miles away from the Earth. Yeah, it looks different from that distance. And you're getting old. Things look different when you get older. I think we already established that. It's plus or minus a million. 93 million miles away. You can't see the actual sun from this far away, what it actually is shaped like. Period. End of story.
I'm not going to include all of them that I found. But yeah, the fact remains that something is going on with our sun. Something is going on in our sky. In fact, I on Instagram, I always used to be posting about chemtrails. So this was from 2019. And I just said, here, watch the progression of these clouds throughout the day. And then I said, image number 6 is especially horrifying. And so this is what we're told as clouds. And it actually did start out as what they will try to tell you are contrails, but they're not. It started out like that, and they just started thickening and spreading. And what eventually happens is that you will get some sort of mess like this up in the sky. Full coverage. I actually have videos too, just very short videos that I also shared on Instagram many years ago that will show I actually recorded it, a progression over time of the chemtrails actually spreading out into clouds.
Well, you get a lot of facts. You state everything as a fact. How do you know it's not alien spacecraft discharging their chemical toilets into the atmosphere? That could be it. It could be alien poop floating around in the sky for all you know. You have no idea. You haven't researched anything. You read a bunch of articles and you watch a lot of YouTube videos from flat earthers who have all these opinions that don't make any sense at all. So, I mean, there's that, you know?
And a very blue sky turning white. So that's really all I wanted to talk to you about today. I just want to know if any of you, I know that a lot of you have noticed this, and you will hear more people talk about chemtrails than you will about the fact that there's something going on with our sun. But I would love to know if you have noticed anything about the sun too, and what theories have you heard about it.
Oh boy, that's enough cuckoo for one episode. Hey, don't forget to mash that like button there. Mash the heck out of it. Don't forget now. I know I forget all the time when I'm watching videos from other people until they say something and then I hit it. Because I'm just old and I forget things. So in case you forget, hit the like button. Please. Thank you. And on a final note, I hope you enjoyed the video. I was pretty entertained by it. Creaky Blinder did one of her newest videos. It was about the devil's devil's thing there, and that's a broken off leg of a giant titan from a billion years ago or whatever. And she believes all this stuff, and she's always referencing flat earthers in her other videos. That's the videos she watches, are flat earth videos, because she believes the earth is flat and there's a dome over it. And I don't know how she thinks those big giant lights, those humongous ginormous things, got up in the sky. I guess they craned them up there with a giant crane attached to the dome or something. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in these people's heads. I can't figure it out. I've tried. I can usually get inside of somebody's head and figure out what they're thinking or feeling and something. But these people, they're just way beyond me. Maybe they're just way smarter than I am, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Could be. That could happen. Anyway, this lady looks like my fourth fourth grade math teacher. But she sure don't act nothing like her. Hope you enjoyed the video. Y'all have a great day. Bye.